Something just happened near Mars that no one can explain. For the first time, telescopes across 3 continents captured an interstellar object glowing, not from sunlight, not from reflection, but from within. It shouldn't be possible, not at this distance, not in the cold void where sunlight barely reaches. And yet, the light keeps pulsing. If this isn't a comet reacting to the sun, then it's reacting to something else. It appeared quietly, almost politely, at the edge of our solar system, a faint speck that refused to behave. NASA designated it 3I Atlas, marking it as the 3rd known interstellar visitor after Oumuamua and Borisov. But from the very first readings, astronomers knew this one wasn't following the rules. Where Oumuamua spun like a shard and Borisov trailed a predictable comet tail, 3I Atlas defied both. It moved faster than expected, over 90,000 miles per hour, yet showed no sign of fragmentation. Its brightness grew long before the sun's heat could have triggered any reaction, and its spectral signature didn't match water, carbon dioxide, or dust, the usual building blocks of comets. Even stranger, its trajectory suggests it's older than our own solar system. A relic forged under a different star in a different time, now gliding silently through ours, a messenger from a forgotten origin. But as data streamed in, something became clear. This wasn't light being reflected. This wasn't sunlight. It was self-illumination. Long before 3I Atlas reached the warmth of our inner solar system, it began to glow. At nearly 3 astronomical units away, twice the distance of Mars, it should have remained dark, frozen, and inert. No sunlight strong enough to vaporize ice, no heat to trigger outgassing, nothing to create that signature cometary tail. And yet, observatories across Hawaii, Chile, and South Africa detected the same impossible truth. 3I Atlas was already alive with light. Its brightness rose exponentially. No spikes of dust, no jets of sublimating gas, just a smooth rhythmic pulse, as if something beneath the surface had activated. Thermodynamically, it makes no sense. At that distance, a comet should sleep in silence, but this one seemed to know the sun was coming, responding before physics said it could. Some theorized exotic chemistry, unstable compounds releasing trapped energy. Others whispered darker possibilities, internal fusion, magnetic induction, or even artificial heat regulation. The deeper astronomers looked, the less it resembled any known natural object. 3I Atlas wasn't reflecting sunlight, it was emitting it. Not as a flare or explosion, but as if something within was communicating through luminosity. And if that's true, then something inside 3I Atlas woke up before the sun ever touched it. The week 3I Atlas crossed Mars's orbit, 2 stars in entirely different corners of our galaxy died. First came V1935 Centauri, a sudden nova in the southern sky, bright enough to pierce the naked eye. Within days, another flared in Aquila, separated by light years, but synchronized in time. To most, it was nothing more than cosmic coincidence, but for astrophysicists tracking 3I Atlas, that timing was a statistical nightmare. 2 rare stellar detonations erupting almost simultaneously, the same week an interstellar traveler glowed brighter than ever before. Patterns like that don't happen by chance, not across billions of cubic light years. High-energy gamma bursts from both novas arrived just as 3I Atlas's plasma field began to fluctuate. Spectral data showed brief resonance, as if incoming radiation had interacted with its surrounding coma. For a fleeting moment, the entire object pulsed in sync with energy waves from distant dying stars, like a tuning fork catching vibrations across space. If it were coincidence, it was the most precisely orchestrated one in astronomical history, and if it wasn't, then something much larger is at play, something linking the death of stars to the arrival of a single interstellar wanderer. 2 dying stars exploded the same week this visitor crossed Mars. Coincidence doesn't glow. For centuries, we've understood one rule of comet physics: its tail always points away from the sun. That's because solar radiation and charged particles push vaporized gas outward, forming a luminous stream that always trails behind the body's trajectory. But 3I Atlas broke that rule. When its coma, a vast sphere of glowing plasma nearly 8 times Earth's diameter, came into contact with the solar wind, astronomers expected 1 tail, maybe 2, both streaming away from the sun. Instead, one behaved normally. The other bent back toward it. It wasn't an illusion. Multiple independent telescopes confirmed it, a twin-tail configuration defying every model of magnetohydrodynamics we know. The plasma didn't scatter randomly. It pulsed, reversed, and aligned with incoming solar radiation like an antenna catching a signal. For a brief period, solar activity and Atlas's emissions appeared to resonate, a dance of energy transfer across 150 million kilometers. Some researchers quietly dubbed it the cosmic conversation. Maybe it wasn't a reaction at all, but maybe it was a response, the kind that suggests awareness, or at least orchestration embedded in physics itself, because what we were seeing wasn't chaos, it was rhythm, it was timing, and perhaps communication. We're not watching chaos, but we're watching choreography. When spectroscopy finally pierced 3I Atlas's coma, it revealed something no one was ready for: nickel, dense radiation-resistant metallic concentrated at the center. Around it, a thick layer of cyanide compounds arranged in a strangely symmetrical gradient. Beyond that, an outer shell of volatile dust and gas, but not random, patterned. Nature builds chaos, and this looked like architecture. The core's thermal readings were baffling. Despite being bombarded by solar radiation, its temperature remained unnaturally stable, as if the layers were designed to dissipate heat through controlled diffusion. Nickel reflects, cyanide insulates, and the ratio between them creates a perfect balance between endurance and flexibility. If you were to design a vessel meant to survive eons drifting between stars, exposed to radiation, impacts, and cosmic cold, this is exactly how you'd build it: a dense metallic heart, a self-cooling envelope, a protective exoshell. Even the internal composition hinted at design efficiency. The object's density was far too low for a solid rock, but far too stable for a rubble pile. Like an egg, fragile in appearance, indestructible by structure. Of course, no one dares say the word artificial, not yet, but the equations point to something nature doesn't usually do: intent. Whatever 3I Atlas is, its chemistry isn't random. Its design solves problems we haven't even learned to ask yet. It's not built to survive space, it's built to cross it. At first, astronomers thought it was an equipment glitch, a flicker in the signal, but when every telescope reported the same pattern, the error vanished. 3I Atlas wasn't just glowing, it was pulsing. Brightness peaks appeared in perfect intervals, repeating every 47 minutes, synchronized with faint radio bursts picked up by deep space arrays. Different frequencies, same rhythm, like light and sound, keeping time to a hidden metronome. Radio astronomers compared it to pulsars, those cosmic lighthouses that sweep beams across space, but this wasn't a steady rotation, it was coded. The pulse gaps weren't random. They repeated in mathematical ratios, sequences that mirrored harmonic resonance patterns seen in plasma physics and in music. Then came the chilling part. When data from the twin novas, those distant stellar explosions, was reanalyzed, their radiation spikes matched the same intervals, light years apart, yet following the same beat. No natural system should synchronize across that kind of distance, and yet here it was, a pattern stretching from dying stars to a single interstellar traveler, pulsing like an answer across the void. If nature speaks in randomness, this speaks in rhythm. At some point, the science stops feeling like data and starts feeling like dialogue, because every anomaly, every impossible reading from 3I Atlas keeps echoing back one deeper question. What if awareness isn't just inside us? Quantum mechanics has always hinted at it. The observer changes the observed. Reality doesn't exist in full until it's measured, seen, noticed. And what if that principle doesn't stop at the human mind? What if the universe itself is aware, a vast field of observation woven through stars, matter, and time? Maybe 3I Atlas isn't just passing through. Maybe it's a mirror, a consciousness made visible through geometry, chemistry, and light, a reflection of how the cosmos watches itself through us. And perhaps after billions of years drifting through the dark, it didn't come here to send a message. Maybe it's here to see who's listening. For centuries, humanity has stared at the night sky, asking where we came from, but 3I Atlas turned that question inward, asking what we truly are, whether it's a fragment of a forgotten world, a vessel engineered across cosmic time, or a message wrapped in plasma and light. It has already succeeded in something extraordinary. It made us confront the boundary between matter and meaning, between creation and consciousness itself, and maybe in the silence between its pulses, it was never speaking to us at all, but waiting for us to listen, because if this was the signal we almost missed, what NASA found next will redefine life itself.